We are on a mission.
A mission to save and revitalize independent pharmacy.
On the Catalyst Pharmacy podcast,
You will get actionable business advice
hear stories from industry leaders,
and share a laugh with us.
fuel your passion for pharmacy.
One conversation at a time.
Hello.
Hello. Good
How are ya?
morning.
Good morning. I'm good.
Somehow
How
I'm
are
picturing
all?
you in a booster chair there. You look really high in that chair.
I do. I've got my booster.
Yeah, that's your booster. Yeah, we're just we're talking about King Henry VIII's wives, if anything.
Okay, hang
we
on.
talked about.
Let's give a little bit of the backstory reason. Jeff recently went to London and he saw Six. Because, I mean, where else do you want to see Six, which is the Broadway show about Henry VIII's six wives?
Right.
Then no better place to see it than in London. And we've seen it in New York on Broadway. And it's just
But not with a British accent. It was different with a British accent.
I imagine it was amazing with the British accent. And so I've been listening to Six, the Broadway musical, in our office for like the last week, because that's what he's blaring on all three speakers in between his office, my office, and the hallway. And they're catchy songs. They are very catchy songs.
Are you a Broadway?
I'll have to check it out.
Are you a musical fan? You like?
You know, I haven't been to that many. I love every show I've ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
I went to School of Rock. That was awesome. And, you know, it's always so captivating and the talent is just blows you away. But I haven't had a chance to see as many as I'd like.
Well, this one's interesting because it's not a Broadway. It's not your traditional Broadway musical.
Yeah, it's more like a concert.
It's a concert.
Doesn't have an
Right,
intermission.
Yeah,
It's kind of a concert story. It's kind of like storytelling through a concert.
It's we're gonna tell you our stories, and you tell us which of us had the worst of it with Henry.
Yeah, it's about 14 songs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, with them kind of competing against each other.
I got introduced to it because my daughter watched a bunch of so there's a bunch of artists out there that will make animations to go with Broadway musicals. And she was showing me this one and she's like, I love this song. Wow, it's so cool. And she's showed it to me and she's like, watch the animation that this person did. And I'm sitting there listening to the words and it's like, grew up in the French court, oui, oui, bonjour, life was a chore, so she set sail. And then it kept going on. I was like, why does this sound like Anne Boleyn? And then I looked up the song and I was like, because it is Anne Boleyn. But it's catchy. It is really catchy.
So we have Ashley Moose here today. She's a moose by marriage, but
Yes.
talented enough. She could have been a moose by birth. You never know. Hopefully not at this point. But how have you been? Y'all traveled
Good.
anywhere lately? Done anything fun?
We have been busy at work ever since the summer trade shows. We have been just focused on a lot of new initiatives here at the pharmacy, and lots been really good. Been really, really, really busy, but really good.
Yeah, I think I read that you guys had started your what's the Bright Tree? Y'all started that
The Big
recently?
Tree, yeah.
Big Tree.
We're coming off a huge week. We launched Tuesday. We had a grand opening, big open house. We had about 200 to 250 folks from the community coming in the pharmacy to meet the providers.
Oh, wow.
We had a taco truck. We had cupcakes. We had a big event and prizes and giveaways. So we're exhausted this
Nice.
week, but it was
That's how you do it,
really
everybody.
been a
Just
good
letting you know. The taco truck. That's how you do
hang
it.
on. Let's back up a little bit. So for
taco truck.
for the
That's how you do
listeners
it.
and viewers who did not stop by the CPESN booth at Cardinal or Amerisource this summer, that's where I got introduced to Big Tree. Was they were in your booth. So what is Big Tree? Explain that one.
Absolutely.
For anybody who has not come across this, because it was really cool when they explained it to me.
Yeah, the easy thing about Big Tree is it's convenient healthcare. So Big Tree is partnering with community pharmacies to embed practitioners so that when patients that you're already taking care of or patients in the community that don't have maybe easy access to primary care options, they can come to your pharmacy and be seen for regular primary care services or other types of enhanced services. So here at our our side in Moose Pharmacy in Monroe, we're doing a spinoff of some more wellness types of activities. So IV hydration, different types of just wellness types of services that Liz, who is my the physician assistant that's working here, she's awesome and she's so motivated and has such a passion for wellness. So in addition to primary care services, we're going to have just a whole new offering in the community that we haven't been able to offer before in the community pharmacy.
So if they're not seeing patients, what are they doing in the meantime?
Right now, we're growing the business. We're just trying to market to make sure, because we are so new in the community. And it is it's a subscription model, but it's very
so it's all subscription. So
model.
Outside the subscription, I don't have primary care, right? So everything of the Big Tree in the pharmacy is subscription. And that's, how does that work?
Yeah. So you pay a minimum of 3 months subscription. It's very minimal for us. Our price point's $70, and you have 24/7 virtual or physical on-site care. And you can see the provider every day if you want. And that also includes a handful of about 180 medications. So if you're seeing the prescriber feels like there is something you need, she'll write it, and it's covered under the subscription cost.
Okay.
And not only, so that $70 not only includes the visits with the physician, there's some drugs that are covered. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So so there's, as a partner with Moose Pharmacy, as the membership cost, there's 180 medications, mostly generic medications. And I think they're pretty comprehensive for almost every disease state, every acute need that you may have. There's something there that can be treated. And so for patients that are concerned about cost, they can be taken care of very well under the subscription model.
Very cool.
And then, all right, so the stuff that's outside of that 180 drugs, is that normal cash price, or is it some kind of cash plus, or what is that?
Yeah, so that would be, for services, there's the subscription plus. Usually it's a discounted price than what you would get into like the marketplace. So if you have IV hydration, a need for that, then you could go ahead and get that, but it would be cheaper than if you were just going to go to another location for an IV hydration treatment, because they paid that subscription.
So it's 180 drugs included, and then there's some other drugs that are cheaper than you could get just walking off the street and getting them. So that's
absolutely. Absolutely.
So the services are like, what am I thinking? It's chronic or acute? It's acute.
It's acute.
So I'm walking in, I have a problem, right?
Yeah.
What about preventive services?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is preventative, there's chronic, and there's acute care management. Anything you would see your primary care or an urgent care for, this would be what you would come.
So I want to come in and get my flu shot, and I decide, hey, I want to get started on birth control.
That's easy. Well, we could even do that in the pharmacy side in North Carolina anyway.
Yeah, y'all can do that in North Carolina, because that was the recent, we talked to 2 girls that work for y'all. They were doing their internship at the time, and they were working on that program. So, but getting established in other states where, so how does that work? Explain that to me. So you guys got it passed in North Carolina, but what about other states where they have, you still have to go to an actual doctor office for the Tamiflu test and prescription side of it?
Right. Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time, right? I mean, access to care is a problem all over the nation.
Right.
And for the states that haven't passed it yet, I think it's a matter of time before there's going to be that type of access available. We're lucky in that I would say maybe more on the middle of the road states that have been able to pass it in North Carolina, but there are other states, Washington and Colorado and others, that have just been the front runners of those kind of activities and have a very strong pharmacy legislative presence that have been on top of that for a couple of years now even. So we're kind of following their trail and those types of services and scope of practice rights.
Any interested? Have y'all talked to any employers? Any employer interest in providing that benefit for their
for staff?
Employees?
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's a direction that it's really going to take off. For our own company, we're exploring it, trying to figure out how to make it work. There's so much benefit in having your employees having access to a provider, both virtually or as a physical visit. And I have to think it would reduce missed sick days and just ease of access to for your employees to get really good care quickly without waiting for 2 weeks for an appointment or something like that. So, we're even exploring it within our own company, but also trying to make sure that other self-funding companies are aware that this is something that's, hey, it's a benefit that you can offer for your employees.
And so have you investigated that? So there are rules about high deductible plans, right? So you can have a high deductible plan, insurance plan, it does certain things. But can I offer a high deductible plan and then also carve out something like this at the bottom? Is that?
You can.
Yeah.
You absolutely can.
Because to me, you got two there's probably a lot of employers there who don't have insurance, right? 10 or less employees, they're not offering insurance. This would be a great thing. I can give my employees something. That seems like a nice benefit. And then the other piece is for employers who offer high deductible plans to be able to say, hey, yeah, you got a $2,000 a year deductible, but for most of your stuff that you're going to have, we have this thing for you here that's included, no cost, no out of pocket, no copay, includes this many drugs that are free, and they just pay that. So super interesting to see how that's gonna take off.
I'm hoping it will take off. It's worth it, and it's worth a try. And maybe we fell at it, maybe we don't, but we won't know till we get out there and just try.
Yeah, I'm interested to start learning what the objections are. And how do you tackle the objections? Objections are going to be single pharmacy. Some of those. I think one of the things you'll end up with at time, and probably not where you are in Monroe, but more like in Charlotte or something like that, is where, hey, sure, we want to do it, but we want a portion to be portable, right? I have employees who travel, or I have how do you handle a little bit of portability? Is there some type of interoperability that can be built among CPESN pharmacies, or is there, where you have the kind of the health club model, where you pay, you have the home health club that you use, and then you get, when you travel, you get a visit a month somewhere else or something. I don't know how that
right.
goes,
Right. That would be a unique way to kind of put a spin in it. I think too, we're focused on where we're at right now, which is Monroe and the surrounding area. But this is a totally different population than who's coming in my pharmacy. I have complex care patients walking in the pharmacy, but who we want in this model are healthy people that want convenience care. They want quick access. And that's an expanded model throughout even North Carolina, really. And so virtual care is going to be just huge. I mean, when you have a sore throat or a recurrent problem, you just want a quick answer to get yourself back on track for good health. And I think that's what's going to be really appealing, to expand outside of where my head is normally at when caring for my everyday patients. I've got to think outside of that now.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you think about, hey, so insurance is expensive and just getting more expensive. And then being able to go, hey, and by the way, for this much money a month, you can go to this pharmacy and we've paid the membership, and here's your check-in care if you just want to go, cool, flu test, give me Tamiflu and I'm good. But also expanding those packages to like the family. So it's not just I only get to take advantage of that, but I get to take my kids to the pharmacy in that same model.
That's it.
Yep.
And so creating the family package too.
And for healthy people, you kind of want a hassle-less layer, right? I want a hassle-free. I can call somebody, I can pick up my phone, I got, almost concierge medicine, right? Kind of a hassle-free layer.
Right.
Then I'm okay with this donut hole if something happened to me, this high deductible, and then I need this catastrophic coverage, right? I need this. Yeah. I need to say, hey, I get, cancer or something like that. I need catastrophic, or getting a wreck or something like that. So I think it's super interesting. I'd love to, we had a speaker once that talked about,
I talked about memberships.
He's really modern methods of healthcare.
Okay.
Out of Ohio.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we need to find him again, and kind of see what he thinks. I don't know what he's doing, but he's interesting. We had him a speaker at Connect one time. Was talking about.
Will Tuft would know better off.
Yeah, we need to figure that out.
Yeah. Okay.
Can see that. So where do you see it ever stretching with tiers where you have there's a $70 plan and there's a $100 plan and there's a $200 plan? Have we thought about that and what those tiers might be?
Maybe down the road. I think right now, we've kept it to individual plan, family plan, spouse plan. Those are kind of the three plans that we have. And then there's a virtual only plan or a virtual plus on-site plan.
Right.
So those are the offerings right now.
Oh, they are offering. So what is the virtual only? Is that cheaper than the 70?
It is. Yeah. Yeah. It's cheaper.
Can you say what it is?
I think so. I was looking for my brochure if I have it around, but I think it's close to $50 a month, something like $45, $50 a month. Yeah.
And the virtual is video or is it text?
It's video.
Video? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is it an app or is it like a text-based link that they then click and open?
It's an app, yeah. So they would have access to the app and they can just click on their appointment time and zoom in and show their pink eye or describe what their problem is, and it'll go pretty smoothly.
So how is that? So CPESN today, close to 4,000 members? Where are we at?
Right. We're closer to about 3,500 still. We're staying pretty steady right there. But I think with so many of the value-based purchaser opportunities coming down the pipelines, I think we're going to see some growth there. I really do. Because there's, you don't want to be the pharmacy missing out on a way to have the non-DIR revenue coming in. And as pharmacies are learning about what those opportunities are or what the ask is to perform in a value-based payer contract, they're like, oh, I can do that. Like easy things you're already doing probably. And so it's just a matter of making sure the pharmacies are aware that, hey, this payer opportunity can affect you today and jump in.
So how many pharmacies are doing the Big Tree? How many people are signed up?
Oh, gosh, the latest numbers, I've got about 150 that have expressed interest and about 25 that are actively working toward it. So
really early.
I know.
And you were first? You were the first person they went into? Or no?
Actually, no. So I think they just did an opening in El Paso, Texas. There was another launch in a clinic in Missouri. And I believe that there's a launch coming up in Philadelphia and South Carolina, Aden, South Carolina.
So what else
there's
involved
some
in
launches
that?
Happening soon.
So can you walk us through what ell's involved in that? If I'm
taco
a
trucks.
Yeah, we know taco trucks, and that's going to be right up your alley. But for a pharmacy who's interested, and this is kind of this conversation is getting them excited, and they're like, hey, yeah, I want to do this. Tell me more. How do I get started? What's the sign up?
Sure. So you can go to CPESN Marketplace site.
Okay.
And there's an affiliation link. It does it. You can complete it.
Do you have to be a member of CPESN to do this?
You do.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's, I've mentioned this several times to colleagues, but the special purpose networks, Big Tree being one of those special purpose networks, I think is one of the most exciting things that have come to CPESN. I get so excited to talk about it.
No, I think it is exciting.
It's a pathway for pharmacies, whether you have a heavy Medicare population. Okay, well, go explore what SWAT and team are doing with the Podiatry Physician Collaborative.
Yep.
If you want to get primary care in your pharmacy, go explore what Big Tree's happening. If you want to explore health equity, which, by the way, almost every single meaningful payer conversation that's happening involves social determinants of health. That's exactly what the Health Equity Special Purpose Network is training you to be an expert on. And so, I mean, there are pathways for pharmacies to get into a space that otherwise may be kind of challenging to do on your own. And so that's what's so exciting about it to me. But so if any of those appeal to you, we've got, you just simply sign on for more information. It doesn't commit you. You have options to learn more about the process. But I think that there's something out there for every pharmacy at this point. And there are a few more special purpose networks in the pipeline coming soon. So we'll see what else comes about. But it's pretty fun time in pharmacy right now, I think.
Nice.
Very excited. It's good to have people on that are excited about pharmacy and what they're doing and what's next. So what do you see as next for CPESN?
Oh gosh, CPESN. So I think we're doubling down on value payer purchaser opportunities. We're doubling down on making sure pharmacies are aware about special purpose networks. You know, going into the summer, talking about special purpose networks, we have the concept and we have the idea, but we don't have a whole lot of pharmacies that have been through the experience that can say, yeah, this was a really good revenue opportunity for me, and this is how it changed my practice. And so coming into the fall, we're going to have a little bit more experience under our belt with some of those pharmacies that are able to kind of speak out about it now and say, this was a heavy load, but at the end of the day, I'm glad, or I'm not quite cracked this nut yet, and this is the kind of support I need to make this successful. So we're going to hear the real life stories of pharmacies that are going through this process. And I can't wait to hear what they are and experience it for ourselves too.
So back to the big tree. So let's say, like, I mean, to me, if I'm a pharmacist who's not in the community, maybe it's an easy button. But let's say I'm the guy and I've developed a lot of physician relationships, right? How do I navigate I'm now competing against you in my pharmacy? And everybody else is too. I guess that's one way to navigate it. Yeah, CVS, Walgreens, everybody's competing with you. You know, we're all after the same dollar. But any insight into that?
You know, the way I look at that is we have an access to care problem. You know, I think, especially in my community, we have pretty good relationships with the providers in our communities. And my goal is to make their job easier, right? The providers that have full panels every day, they're working so hard. They're just trying to get out at the end of the day and go spend some meaningful time, what's left with their families. So the way I see my role is to try to give them actionable information that can help them meet metrics, that can help them take care of their patients. And I want to preserve those relationships. What we're bringing in and offering through Big Tree is another solution to patients that don't feel like they can get access.
Right.
So I don't know that this is necessarily taking away from their piece of pie from the existing providers, because I think they're at capacity.
Right.
I think it's providing an opportunity for expansion, for growth, for development within the community, and helping patients have a pathway for care when they can't get in and see their provider.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to go in with pink eye and wait in the office to be worked in for 4 hours.
Right. While sitting next to somebody that has flu or COVID.
Sitting by somebody who's coughing up a lung.
Yeah.
You know, interesting. I think that's going to be one of the objections. That's going to be one of the things has to work through, or one of the concerns. And it'd be interesting to say, you know, do I hit that one hard? Right? Do I call my doctors that I do and say, hey, we're doing this and this is why I think it's okay? Right. Or do you kind of just do it and see if they call and complain? You know, what's the kind of, you know, how out front, you know, you about that, and how do you know, the change management kind of thing, which is interesting.
Well, and the biggest thing also, the biggest struggle that pharmacy has in the mountainous of others is marketing. And so how do you market this to your patients to get them more aware of
Taco trucks.
Taco truck. Yes, we know Jeff's answer is taco trucks, but not every.
The answer's just been obvious several times.
But in the more rural locations where food trucks are not an option.
And then when they show up, it's like, it's like, wow.
That's when you get your good old fashioned charcoal grill out. You get in the parking lot.
There you go.
Hot dogs.
Yep. Cooking in the grill in the parking lot.
The taco truck.
Then you're the taco truck. That's right.
Become the taco truck.
Yeah.
So
it's the answer to most of the world's problems.
We probably are going to need about 80 hours of your time to show us the ropes on that, because no, honestly, I mean, like, the marketing is a huge piece of it, because this is a different concept, and patients aren't, they probably don't know what their benefits are, or what considerations they need to take into account, because it's a model that's never been introduced. You show up to the doctor's office, you show your insurance card, End of story. You may or probably will get a bill in the
And then
mail
you
in
pick
2
the pharmacy
months,
near
right?
your home, or they
Right.
go to a CVS or Walgreens because they don't know that there's better offerings and opportunities for healthcare just in a community pharmacy near them. So, yep, it's the biggest thing is just patient information is informing the patients that these are options.
So this is so exciting. We like dove straight in, right? And rather than getting a little bit of the personal, I know we did ask, and we know
Yep,
Ashley.
we went straight to business.
So
business.
some of
We did.
the personal is, yeah, but it's great business. It's not just business. It's great business. And so we dove right in, but let's circle back around
so
and just,
let's circle back
I don't
because,
know that and maybe I was had a little drink maybe and didn't remember, but I'm not sure I know your full backstory again. So just tell us how you
been
got
several
into
dinners with several cocktails.
how you got into
and
pharmacy.
Several bottles of
Tell
wine.
us your story.
Where did you start at? Where'd you go to school?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Kentucky, went to University of Kentucky, and decided, even further to back up from that, my father was a primary care physician. So I pretty much grew up after school.
That answers the what made you go into pharmacy.
So primary care physician. Yeah. So you went after school doing what?
I organized his sample closet. That was back in the day when you had samples, right? So late 90s. Yeah. So I organized the sample closet because it was a total wreck every day. I couldn't stand it. And
so the sample closet, for anybody who doesn't know, is drugs. So,
well, yeah, I was about to say. So that's how she got familiar with the drug names.
He let her teenager organize the drugs. So very, very, very good kid, very trusted child. Not everybody should trust their children with the samples closet. Just to put it out there, guys.
Well, it's not like samples are a thing anymore. So
I think doctors they don't do that anymore. Doctors don't do samples anymore. Didn't they kind of clamp down on that?
Like
that was
they got stricter on it. So it's more like, here, I'm giving you a prescription for this, but here's a sample to get you started right now.
Yeah, but I think there was something about how that was that was some kind of like send them to a ball game or something. So now you got to bring them a pie or no samples. Just bring them a pie or something. All right. So you organized a samples closet. You learned what some of the drugs and stuff were. And then what happened?
Right. And then there's the pharmacy in his office complex. So I started venturing down to the pharmacy, checking it out. And, I think growing up, so my dad, every morning he had rounds, every evening he had rounds, and then he worked all day. And so it was like, gosh, that's a busy life. I don't know if I want primary care as my lifestyle, not realizing
pharmacy's just as busy.
I stay pretty busy in pharmacy too, but
well, you have 2 jobs, and you're an overachiever and a runner. So there's some life choices you've made here. So let's just put it out there. You could be a pharmacist and not spend the 80 hours a week you're spending. Just put it out there. Okay.
It's a concept we don't know, right?
Yeah.
But I got to know the pharmacy, and I loved the pharmacist that was in the office, and got to know him and what he does, and then it just came time to make a decision as I went through college, and I was getting close to needing to figure out a career. I knew it was going to be something in healthcare. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I just sent out applications for pharmacy school and took a gamble and was able to get in. So I ended up going to Campbell University in North Carolina.
Oh, nice.
It was great for that though, because I wanted to get out of the state, and I loved North Carolina. I loved everything about the state. I loved the weather. I loved.
And you didn't look back.
I didn't look back. No.
Yeah, I think that's going to be Mackie. She's in Savannah right now, and she's already loving the weather and just the climate and just everything. So I have a feeling she's not coming back.
So she may be a Georgia girl.
Maybe, maybe a little peach.
Yep.
All right. So you
went
to North Carolina.
Got it there. You did an internship in Moose?
So I did a residency.
Okay.
Actually, no, you're right. I did a rotation in January of my 4th year of pharmacy school at a place called Moose Pharmacy. Mm-hmm. And this guy walks in on my first day. He's disheveled. He's putting his tie together. like halfway tucking his shirt in, and it was like a Monday morning, and it was just bananas in the pharmacies with tons of people. I'm like, who is this guy? Well, it was Joe Moose.
Yep.
He was my preceptor, and he was just all over the place doing 5 things at once. And okay. And there was so much work to do. And I just, set up the student desk, and just this paperwork started coming, and patient encounters started coming. And so I just dove right in. And about 2 weeks into the rotation, he came to me and said, "Hey, we have a residency program. You're late because you needed an application in a week ago. Would you like to apply? I'll need your application by the end of the day in order to get that in." And I was like, okay, I've already got a job lined up. I'm going to work for Target, which was a great, right? I've got a commitment in, and I'm like, a residency? What's this about? So I looked into it, did a crash course on what a residency program was, why I would maybe want to consider it. And I just, sometimes in life you just get this like gut thing, like, I need to do this.
Like, this is an opportunity that I should not pass on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of did it. And next thing I knew, I got an interview, and it was affiliated with UNC Eshelman School of Pharmacy. So I was meeting some faculty that now later become just great friends and tremendous mentors of my career. But I was meeting with them for the first time and just trying to get a feel for the lay of the land. And you know how things are, like, I don't know, Monday mornings, things just seem so big, like, so you have so many things to get accomplished, and you think, gosh, am I enough for this? And so all of those questions were going through, and it turned out to be awesome. It was so awesome. I decided to stick around another year, and I did a 2nd-year residency, but this time it was focused in academia. So I wanted to learn about how to become a researcher in community pharmacy and provide more information to help kind of tailor new programs and services within community pharmacy. That's always been my interest, is just starting new programs and figuring out a way to keep something sustainable in a community pharmacy. So sometimes I fell at that a lot, the sustainability part, but it's part of the process, right?
Yeah.
So
you got to try 10 things to get one to work. So we got to be trying lots of stuff. So one of those will be sustainable.
Upwards.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's failing upwards.
All right.
Well, I have fell upwards, backwards, and sideways along the way, but and maybe I still am in the process, but I guess that's okay, right? It's just showing up
and now
every day.
You have your own location in the Moose. Because I think when Moose installed with us, it was just 5 stores, and now there's 8 locations. Is that right? Is it up to 8?
We're up to 8. Our 8th, maybe not in chronological order, but we have a compounding pharmacy too that we count as our 8th. That's just solely.
So how far out of town is Monroe? Is it just a suburb? Is it pretty far out?
No, it's about 35, 40 minutes outside of Charlotte.
Yeah. So, which way?
South. East.
Okay.
And so when did you...
Kind of the opposite end of Witt's pharmacy, right? Because Witt's is kind of north.
I'm about 40 miles from them too. Yeah. 40 minutes from them. So we're right on the South Carolina line. So
I got to see him.
Staff that work.
Yeah, we got to see him in Vegas.
We saw him in Vegas. It was so nice.
Yeah. And his wife. Love her.
It's so chill. Yeah. He is the patience of the company. He's the wisdom of the company. He's just
don't get to see him much. Yeah, and we had walked by him and sat down at a table. They were at the table beside us, didn't even notice. All of a sudden they came over and walked and like, but it was
so talented. He's a drummer.
It was a nice treat.
Yes. And a cyclist.
He's a drummer, a cyclist. He's got a lot going on, and he's really cool personality.
So where are you running next?
Yeah, so you kind of jumped into that one. So you're a runner. Like, when did you get into running and doing all these marathons? Because I think when I initially met you, when you were an intern at Moose, you weren't running. You were just...
There was not a lot of time for running then.
Yeah.
No running.
So when did you... What made you get into running?
When Joe started chasing her.
Right. Had to lace up the running shoes.
Yeah, she ran for what, 6 years, 7 years?
Right. He finally got it. I've always ran all my life.
Okay.
Cross country in high school, whatever, just that kind of thing. And I enjoyed it. And then college hit and some things just kind of
got in the way.
Took priority.
Right.
Yep.
Took priority. And then when I got out of residency, my schedule was a 4-day work week. And I had Wednesdays off to do like administrative work or community service or pharmacy development. So it was just kind of like a work from home day. And so I was like, what do I do with my time? It's like trying to figure out everything. So I would just go for long runs during the day. And I started like following the UPS route. He'd start waving at me along the way. And he'd say, I'm still on my route. You're still running, I don't know. I just tested how far I could go.
I'm gonna run. I'm gonna follow the UPS truck. That's what I'm gonna do.
Kind of the way
get on a first name basis with your UPS driver.
Was this a hot UPS truck driver? Was there some other plan going on here?
There was no other. Oh, no,
I think that is a better option to get on a first name drive. Well, it depends. Like if you're like a frequent Amazon shopper, that's bad. Or like my son, who's on a first name basis with his DoorDash deliverer.
They're going to take care of you. I love our UPS driver here at the store. They take care of you.
But I like the idea of getting on a first name basis. Like, I run and we see each other because I'm always like on his route or path. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so 5 coolest places you've ran.
Oh, gosh. About a year ago, I ran in Berlin.
I was about to say, that was y'all last summer. That was last summer's trip, right?
Yeah, I did trip. That would be me because I'd be like, that's cool. That's cool. And then I'd be falling over myself trying to run and pay attention.
Squirrel.
Yeah. Well,
all of a sudden you'd be drifting over here toward that really cool building. And
there's so many runners in those. They're world marathon races. So there's 60,000 runners in them. So
crazy.
So it's insane, but there's elites that's running in it that are just as fast as lightning. And then there's normal people like me running in it. And it's a really cool experience to be a part of some of those races. But Berlin was awesome.
I can imagine.
You just see all the landscapes. But the other cool one is here on the domestic side, which was New York. New York was just awesome. Like the streets are lined from one end of each borough to the next. And it's just explosive energy. Everybody's so excited. The race takes place on a Sunday. So the choirs of the churches, they all come out when you run through Brooklyn.
Cool.
What? And they're singing?
And they're singing to the runners and they're all in
Jeff's going to start running in
New
York.
I would run for that.
It is cool.
I would. What are they singing?
Just church hymns.
Oh, yeah?
But like upbeat church hymns to encourage the runners.
Yeah.
No, that's
now Jeff's
really
going to
cool.
be running in New York.
That's kind of my life. I kind of speak sometimes on stage, like I introduce the journal session. And I was like, one of these times I'm going to have a choir.
Get one while you're running.
Awesome.
Those
are goals.
I'm going to hit some part and they're going to come out. We're going to end up with a rise up or something like that. A little rendition. I think that would be...
Promises,
that is a goal you
promises.
Need to have.
I don't know. It would be memorable.
So Chicago's coming up. When is Chicago?
October 8th, coming up in 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah. You're going to head there and then...
I've done it before. Right after, it was 2021, it was COVID, and I wasn't well-trained, and it was the weekend that NCPA was in Charlotte, so I flew up, and then I flew back the night of the race. It was just it was just a super fast time, and I just didn't give it my all on the course, and I wanted to come back and try it again. So this time.
So now I'm curious because Jeff's big thing is, find a moment of just peace. And that's when you just, you kind of get to clear your head and not think about all the chaos in front of you. And so is this like your moment of solace that you just like take a moment to yourself and you just run and all your ideas are just of what you want to do next in the pharmacy or with CPESN just kind of start to flow?
Marsha, you nailed it. Exactly. I mean,
that is super
what
interesting.
That time is
That's
about.
a good, valuable. Hey, you're improving your body and thinking. Yeah.
And you're thinking clearly, and it's quiet, and nobody can get to you during that time, you know? So it's,
just put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You have your music going, and then you just go, and then other things start to kind of flow and click. So,
any tips for other people on? So you are you get a lot done, right? You got a CPESN role. You opened a pharmacy.
Hang on, you're jumping ahead here. How many miles a day do you run?
It depends. So I work with a coach. I kind of double down. I work with a nutritionist now to understand performance fueling a little bit better. Now I'm working with a coach.
Okay.
And I'm going for a goal that I really want to get to. And so it ranges from anywhere from 5 miles to 23 miles was at my peak. So it just depends on the day. But yeah. And the type of workout. Sometimes it's easy runs. Sometimes they're interval runs. You know, it just depends on what he's got mapped out for me.
There was an interesting book that I read that talked about basically our bodies and how, you know, women training like men is actually a big mistake because like our bodies just respond to things differently, like food and nutritional and just how, you
tacos.
And tacos, yes. I think everybody responds the same way to tacos. Spices differently, yes. But I'll have to figure out what that book. I'll have to go through my Nook, my Kindle, and see, and then I can like send that to you. But she was a doctor that she was training, and then she kind of figured out like, why was this race? I trained the exact way I've trained every other time. Why was this my worst race? And of course, it had to do with cycle and and just how her body was responding to things.
Yeah, and that can't really be controlled.
Well, she talked about, you know, better ways to train during that and how to control it. Because she even queried and talked to several other athletes that were like, you know, was this your best race or your worst race? And how come? Yeah, it was a super interesting book. I'll have to look it up in my Kindle and I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's so many factors. It's just all the way to how much protein you eat throughout the week, to how much carbs, the ratio of that, how much you're hydrating, what else is going on in your body, like you said, how much stress you're carrying around. Like it all matters with performance like that. And I'm just an amateur, but I'm trying to get better in what I do.
So any tips to the slackers of the world on time management? You seem to do a really good job of getting a lot done and managing your time. What helps you?
We start early, and every day I come in and I have a list of 3 goals I want to accomplish that day. Sometimes they're tasks, sometimes they're more broader goals, but I just know I can't go home at the end of the day until I get
those 3 things.
These things finished.
Yeah.
And it just kind of helps you kind of structure your day, you know?
Yeah. Well, you could say if you come in and you try that list is too big, you're gonna have every day you don't get anything done, right? Yeah.
All right?
And if you don't have a list, you're not gonna get anything done, right? Because you didn't have a list to do.
So the book is Roar by Stacy Sims.
Roar.
You gotta really check it out. I'm writing it down.
Yeah. Emphasize how to match your food and fitness to your female physiology.
Nice. We'll check it out.
Yeah, that was a good one. You would like it if you haven't already read it. So that was my little.
Rawr.
It was gonna bug me if I had to sit there and think about it. I was like, I know I've got the cover in my brain, and I know she was a doctor. And that she was sitting there in a race, and she said she was describing these symptoms that she was starting to feel. And then she's like, okay, so I'm going to do this quick protein bar. And then it was like, it made her feel worse.
Oh,
so,
wow. Yeah.
Do y'all do any kind of nutritional stuff in your pharmacy for patients? Do you have nutritional counseling or any of that?
I don't think we have a formalized program. Of course, we have supplements and things like that, but not a formalized program. And it's been something we've always kind of been throwing back and forth on when's the time to pull the trigger on something like that. I think there's so much opportunity, and hearing some of our colleagues, I know you've had a couple folks on the podcast before that have really taken full interest in just
nutritional health.
Well, you know, there's so much now.
Oh.
You know, you look at this ageless.com or ageless arc. There's so much stuff on anti-aging and so much new stuff there. And the Harvard doctor that's talking on TikTok and all kinds of places about the research he's been doing 15 or 20 years. But you look at people doing stuff like that on their own, and hey, this might have a problem with this, and this might have a problem with that, and oh yeah, that supplement sounds really cool, but what about the other 4 things I'm taking? I really think there's a
play there. I think that I've learned so much from interacting with a coach of something I've done all my life. Like, why would you need a coach? But I really needed someone. It's that accountability piece. It's someone to help me kind of plan and design. And the same is true for nutrition or weight loss or any goal that you want to have personally. Like, it's just really helped me shape and reframe the way I look at mentors or coaches or business coaches even, because they're there to keep you on track, and they're not there to give you the secret answer. They're there to help design and work with you and learn to personalize a process for you to get your goal. And I don't know if it was pride or like just something that kept me from saying, I know how to do this, I can do it on my own. But when you're really serious about something, you know, I think people will pay for a service. To get a goal that they want. And I feel like, especially in community pharmacy, where we don't want to bother anybody, or we don't want to make the sale in that way because we don't want a patient feeling like we're taking advantage of them. But that's not your role. Your role is to be a coach to them, to help them get to their goal. And that's time intensive, and it takes time to design a customized plan for folks. And so a nutrition program is perfect for that.
Yeah, in today's newspaper, you know, there's divisions of our company as we get bigger that try to offer new services, you know, and you'll have the group that say, oh, you're trying to take advantage of us. No, it's a new service that if you want, look at it. If it works for you, do fine. If it doesn't, fine. You know, it's interesting. But I'm in a big city talking about the nutrition, and was just surprised at how much my PCP doesn't know anything about drugs that they don't come in from their drug rep. You know, supplements and things like that. They just don't know. And a lot of times the answer is just, oh, don't take that. If I didn't prescribe it for you, don't take it. You know, they don't really, you really need a place, for nutritional, things like, I take creatine for sure, cause I work out and that's well tested. And also for age-related muscle loss and things like that.
Turmeric is my favorite new
supplement. So tell me why. Why is turmeric your favorite new supplement?
Anti-inflammatory, joints, overuse. I just love it. And so for me, like, that's a new thing I've started taking, and I love it.
Do you experience a difference? You feel like your joints recover better on turmeric?
I do. I really do.
And tell me what you're taking.
We just have
Let's have your nutritional list.
What the dosage on the turmeric is? What is it? Is it?
I don't know. Actually, I just buy the one that's.
Oh, you just buy the one on the counter and you just take it what it says on the back. Okay. That's
right. Yeah. No, I just follow the instructions on the back, but it can be just as simple as that. But it really does work. And I'm pretty healthy up to this point.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things. You look at like C and zinc. The daily recommended is way lower than the tolerable.
Right.
And also way lower than what they've found to be, antiviral, during cold and flu. So you really shouldn't just rely on, and some of the times a multivitamin might have this little bit in it or that little bit in it, Sometimes I take all my vitamins together, make sure I add everything up and make sure it's well under the, with the tolerable and stuff.
Yeah, you take your vitamins as your meal instead of...
Well, I have to take some of them with food, but...
we'll eat lunch and then help us out with this
my multivitamin is like meds. 4 capsules because it's based on natural food.
I've seen them.
Horse
pills.
So, your vitamin C is coming from strawberry, it's ground up so that they actually use whole foods in the, so rather than taking one vitamin, it's 4. But I feel like it's a lot better for me that it's coming from, they call it raw vitamins.
I love that. Yeah.
when I'm given like
averse to
amoxicillin, I'm
textures.
like, and let's get my pill cutter out of the cabinet.
She's gonna cut it
That's
into.
why they make
She's
those
gonna cut it into
delicious
8
chewable
slices.
gummies too. They make gummies
Yep.
in almost everything now.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
you know
like
they
a
say
dessert.
the gummies deteriorate on the shelf really quickly. That
They might. Yeah, they probably do. They probably
I
have
can see
less
that.
shelf life.
the potency of the shelf life is really
Yeah.
low, so you got to keep it in the dark, and then you gotta go to the dark and get my gummies out of the dark.
And they're in the darker bottles too a lot of
Just
times.
seems kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that. But I mean, still, there are still some pretty hunky sized vitamins, like the ones that you take. They are horse
Huge.
pills.
Anything you're looking forward to at NCPA
The
that's
cap-
not CPSN?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. NCPA. Yeah. That's always a
Orlando.
fun conference.
Bull and Bear.
No, not food. I'm talking about at the conference.
Oh, I was talking food.
I know
I'm
you're
looking
talking. She
forward
loves
to
Bull and
food.
Bear.
That's an amazing place.
Yes.
Oh gosh. You know what I really like is just getting to connect with everybody. Community pharmacy and seeing your friends and
Yep.
just the relationships that you have. Like I don't know. I really enjoy the interaction and connecting with your friends again.
Are you going to go to the conference of the 6? No. There's a
I've got
that's
to
the
study
there's
all
a
that
song
in the
called
soundtrack.
6 about the 6 wives
No,
of Henry VIII.
it's called Inside Out. Yeah, we
It's called
covered
Inside
that.
Out. There is a 6, but there's 6 people teaching a pre-conference.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah,
ca-
yeah,
it's
yeah.
called
Inside
it's
Out.
called Pharmacy Inside
We
Out.
covered that today?
We covered the Broadway show 6 already.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I was saying that they've been calling them the 6. So
I think that's going to be an awesome pre-conference. Hopefully I can go, but yeah, I haven't made plans yet. I've got to get my flights. I still need to do that, but everything
That'll
else
be
is set.
interesting. So of the
I'll be there.
6, who is Anne Boleyn and who is Catherine Parr?
So we should take that harmony of that word 6 and play it when that starts. 6.
Yeah, but that's still just a tragic story. Survived, no, divorced, divorced, beheaded, survived, divorced, beheaded, died.
No.
Survived.
Yeah. Divorced, beheaded, died.
He
Divorced,
died.
beheaded, survived.
Yes.
Yeah. The last one survived because she
Well,
outlived.
let's focus on the survival part.
Yes.
Yeah. let's she
I
outlived
agree.
him.
Let's focus on the survival of just everything in pharmacy.
Right.
Well,
right.
so exciting everything you're doing, and thanking you for everything you do for CPSN. I mean, that's a giving back. Certainly, no kind of I don't know if it's a paying gig or not, but there's no payment would be what you give into that. So appreciate that. Hopeful of it. Excited about the big tree and all the other stuff that's coming along.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a place of going into Monday with hope, right? And you know, hope is a big source of energy to try to become the kind of person that you become. So thank you for all that, and enjoyed our time today.
Yeah.
I did too. Thank you guys so much for having me on today. And you know, you're long-time friends of Moose Pharmacy, of me,
Yes.
and of Joe, and we just appreciate everything you do for community pharmacy too, because I know there are so many things we couldn't do without Pioneer and without the leadership of both of you. So thanks for all that you do to contribute to the success of community pharmacy, because it's partners like you that make dreams come true and give us hope. So
awesome.
For the
and we'll see you at NCPA, and can't wait to hear about
in a month
about your run in Chicago. And
all
right.
Looks like lunchtime, so let's go find some tacos.
Let's go find tacos. See you later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for watching the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts to help us reach more pharmacy professionals like you.